order of service, you'll see that there are some old, uncommon hymns that maybe someone here knows. But we're going to sing them, and if you'd like to join in with us, please do.
Thank you. The chime of the bell beckons us into a sacred time. Welcome to the First Unitarian Universalist Church of Houston, where we widen love's circle by honoring the inherent worth and dignity of all. On this very special evening, we extend a heartfelt and inclusive invitation to join us in meaningful worship, song, and ritual. Feliz Navidad y bienvenidos a esta comunidad donde ampliamos el círculo del amor honrando el valor y la dignidad inherentes de todos. We greet all those who are joining us this evening. We hope those watching the live stream will fill out the online attendance form. We ask those of you here in person to take a moment after the service to seek out and introduce yourself to someone that you don't yet know. This is a multi-generational service, and young people may stay here with the adults to experience the readings, songs, and candle lighting. But the nursery is open for the very youngest. Now, please join Dr. Rock and the Sanctuary Choir for our first hymn.
I invite you to open your hymnals to number 235, Deck the Hall with Boughs of Holly. Please rise in body or in spirit and join your voices in song.
Christmas is almost here. The babe is soon to be born. Dreams of peace fill the fragile earth. Prepare the hearth. The babe is soon to be born. Warm the fire against the gray cold. Set the table for the promised guest. But we are unready. The babe is soon to be born, yet still there is hate in human hearts. Each speaks unkind words or fails future's hope. But the babe is soon to be born. At the dark of winter, brighter days promise spring and new life. The babe is soon to be born. Christmas is almost here. Let joy shine and sparkle. Come, friends, let us worship together.
Celebremos compartiendo nuestras vidas, encendiendo esta luz.
Please join me in reciting our congregational covenant found in your order of service. Love is the spirit of our congregation. Service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek truth and love, and to encourage one another. Thus do we covenant.
We light the candles in an Advent wreath to mark both the days approaching the solstice and the advent of Christmas. The first Sunday of Advent, we lit a candle in the south to honor the element of fire and evoke hope. The next week, we lit the candle in the east to celebrate the element of air. We then lit a candle in the west, one to embrace joy. Just 2 days ago, we lit the candle in the north. The element of north is earth. Its season is winter. Inspired by the Christian tradition, the fourth candle is lit to embrace the emotion love. Earth is both what we love and where we love. Tonight, on Christmas Eve, we also light the white candle in the center, known as the Christ candle, to mark the beginning of Christmastide. Blessed be. This ancient testimony is from On the Origin of the World. The light will cover the darkness and obliterate it. It will become like something that never existed. And the source of the darkness will be dissolved. The deficiency will be plucked out at its root and thrown down into the darkness. And the light will withdraw up to its root, and the glory of the unconceived will appear. And it will fill all the eternal realms when the prophetic utterances and the writings of those who are rulers are revealed and are fulfilled by those who are called perfect. Those who are not perfected in the unconceived Father will receive their glories in their realms and in the kingdoms of immortals. But they will not enter the kingless realm. For it is necessary that everyone enter the place from which he has come, each one by his deeds, and his gnosis will reveal his nature.
This modern testimony is a poem called For BMC Number 1 by Nikki Giovanni. I stood still and was a mushroom on the forest green, with all the moils conferring to be my edibility. It stormed, and there was no lead to cover me. I was waterlogged, having absorbed all that I could. I dreamed I was drowning, that no sun from Venus would dry my tears, but a silly green cricket with the pink umbrella said, "Hello, tell me about it." And we talked our way through the storm. Perhaps we could have found an inn, or at least a rainbow somewhere over, but they always said, only one more, and Christmas being so near, we over-identified. Though I worship nothing save myself, you were my savior, so be it. And it was, perhaps not nevermore or ever after, but after all, once you were mine. This ends the reading.
An ancient testimony from three forms of thought. I shall tell you a mystery of this realm and its forces. Birth cries out. Hour gives birth to hour, and day gives birth to day. Months reveal months. Time follows time. This realm was completed in its fashion, and as quickly it is thought as a finger releases a finger and a joint separates from a joint. When the great authorities knew that the time of fulfillment had appeared, just as the time of birth pangs come, the time of destruction approached. The elements appeared, and the foundations of the underworld and the ceilings of chaos shook, and a great fire shone in their midst, and the rocks and earth were shaken like reeds in the wind. And a great thunder disturbed the allotments of fate and those who apportion the houses. The thrones of power were disturbed because they were overturned and their king was afraid. Here ends the reading.
Modern testimony entitled The Gods Are Here by Jean Toomer. This is no mountain, but a house. No rock of solitude, but a family chair. No wilds, but life appearing as life anywhere domesticated. Yet, I know the gods are here, and that if I touch them, I will arise and take majesty into the kitchen.
And so they have been coming, always the same way they come, born of the seed of a man and a woman. No angels herald their beginnings. No prophets predict their future courses. No wise men see a star to show where to find the babe that will save humankind. Yet each night a child is born is a holy night, fathers and mothers, sitting beside their children's cribs, feel the glory in the sight of new life beginning. They ask, where and how will this new life end? Or will it ever end? Each night a child is born is a holy night, a time for singing, a time for wondering, a time for worshiping.
During this season, we read of the chilly silence of snow falling in the woods, despite living in a noisy and temperate city. We sing of Silent Night, Holy Night, despite the cacophony of shopping malls and excited children. All the more reason we need to carve out a time to calmly enter into a time of quietness. This is a time that some call meditation and others name prayer. Let your body settle into a comfortable place. Breathe with me as we gather to do the holy work of kinship and support. Open your mind, open your heart. Spirit of life, although having been announced by way of merchandising since before All Hallows Eve, Christmas is suddenly upon us. It has arrived, demanding undivided attention in the midst of our already busy and distracted lives. But maybe we needed this distraction from the everyday commotion, the hassles, and our troubles. Perhaps this annual event can help us recenter. Spirit of life, help us to breathe as we struggle to maintain calm. Help us to pause to remember our dreams. Help us sort priorities and balance our lives. Christmas comes with an abundance of candy and goodwill and can provide us with time to pause and reflect. Perhaps we can re-engage with those spirits of goodwill, generosity, and gratitude. Help us to reflect upon the gift of life and the promise that each day and each new birth may bring. May the good, the warmth, and the peace we accrue during this season last throughout the year and until the next. Spirit of life, Christmas has arrived. May we love with abandon, and may our spirits flourish during this time. Amen. We pause now together to lift up that which sits heavy and light on our hearts. We realize that when we're experiencing sorrows during the holidays, it seems that we are out of step with the joyfulness everyone else seems to be feeling. We acknowledge this dichotomy, and our hearts go out to those mourning or experiencing sickness or troubles. Kathy Boston is preparing for surgery on the 16th, and Freddie Jones, Tawana Grice's mother, is recovering at home after a medical scare. Several other members of our congregation are either preparing for medical procedures or they're recovering from them, and we hold all of these people in our hearts during this time. Many members and friends are traveling during this time, and we extend traveling mercies and prayer for their safe return. We now turn to a practice inspired by African, indigenous, and pagan traditions. We say aloud or bring to mind the names of those in our lives we wish to celebrate or memorialize this Christmas Eve. Into our sanctuary, into a great cloud of witnesses, let us speak those names. In this great cloud of witness and memory, amid this beloved community, we hear these names and hold them in our hearts. Let us remember the suffering and joy amid and among our community that we do not know. We pause in awe and wonder of the beauty, diversity, and mystery that is life. In the spirit of love, in the spirit of hope, and in the spirit of compassion, I invite each of you to enter into a time of silent prayer, meditation, or reflection.
The ancient testimony from the Gospel of Luke, chapter 2, verses 8 through 20. Now in this same district there were shepherds out in the fields, keeping watch through the night over their flock. Suddenly, an angel of the Lord appeared to them, and the glory of the Lord shone round them. They were terrified, but the angel said, "Do not be afraid. I bring you good news, news of great joy for the whole nation. Today there has been born to you in the city of David a deliverer, the Messiah, the Lord. This will be the sign for you. You will find a baby wrapped in swaddling clothes and lying in a manger." All at once there was with the angel a great company of the heavenly hosts singing praise to God. "Glory to God in the highest heaven, and on earth peace to all in whom he delights." After the angels had left them and returned to heaven, the shepherds said to one another, "Come, let us go straight to Bethlehem and see this thing that has happened, which is the Lord has made known to us." They hurried off and found Mary and Joseph and the baby lying in a manger. When they saw the child, they related what they had been told about him, and all who heard were astonished at what the shepherds said. But Mary treasured up all these things and pondered over them. The shepherds returned in praising God for what they had heard and seen. It had all happened as they had been told.
This modern testimony is Vagabonds by Gustavo Gacartigas. We, whose skin is furrowed with color, we, who walk along roads not our own, we, despoiled even of the right to look straight ahead, we, who walk on tiptoe so as not to awaken the ears of the stalking hunter, so as not to leave signs that might point to our children. We, who cross the borders of dream only to fall into nightmare. We, whose bodies are redolent of cinnamon, of cumin, of saffron, of skin burnt by the rays of the sun. We, whose souls are tempered with honey, our skin roughened by sweat, our hearts weathered by blows, our souls distilling hatred, our souls distilling love. We, contradictory, proud, generous, despised. We, who gave away our hurt, who gave away our hue, who loved in secret without daring to utter, "I love you." We recovered our dream, recovered the softness of our hands, recovered the songs of our children. We, birds without a sky, broke our bonds, broke the bars, held one another's wings, and drunk with hope, without a destination, took flight. And the one whose wings were clipped, where will he go? I wondered, looking at the sky.
invite you to open your hymnals to number 259. We Three Kings of Orient are. Please rise in body or in spirit and join your voices in song.
This ancient testimony from the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 2, verses 7 through 12. Then Herod summoned the astrologers to meet him secretly and ascertained from them the exact time when the star had appeared. He sent them to Bethlehem and said, "Go and make a careful search for the child, and when you have found him, bring me word so that I may go myself and pay him homage." After hearing what the king had to say, they set out. There before them was the star they had seen rising, and it went ahead of them until it stopped above the place where the child lay. They were overjoyed at the sight of it, and entering the house, they saw the child with Mary, his mother, and bowed low in homage to him. They opened their treasure chests and presented him gifts, gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Then they returned to their own country by another route, for they had been warned in a dream not to go back to Herod. Here ends the reading.
Our modern testimony is The Exiled 2 by Cristina Peri Rossi. We speak languages that are not ours. We walk around without passports or identity papers. We write hopeless letters that we don't send. We are numerous forlorn intruders, survivors super survivors, and at times that makes us feel guilty. Here ends the reading.
Each Christmas Eve, we take up a special collection for the minister's discretionary fund. This is the fund that the ministers draw upon to help members of our congregation who find themselves in need of help. The fund might be used to help someone buy food or pay the rent or mortgage or cover a medical bill at a time when they find themselves in particular need. Those in our sanctuary will find the instructions for text giving in the order of service next to the name of the shared offering recipient. And those watching the live stream will see the instructions on your screen. We ask you to give generously. An offering will now be gratefully received.
We give this year can last forever if we only give. Take time and say a pleasant word to anyone who seems close enough to be near. Let's have a Christmas Day, old-fashioned way, like mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, everyone is family. I'm sure time always comes to us, and we can see the fruits of labors born of folk that seem to sing in this sea of eternity. Our lucky stars above send us their love, and Christmas Day is on its way for us to have a time of joy. So bring out all your brights, turn on those Christmas lights, hold hands and sing all through the day and night. Let's have the fun and joy of what this season offers everyone. Bright candles, sleigh rides, all God's children sing and play together the whole day long. Let's have a Christmas Day, old-fashioned way, like mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, everyone is family.
Please join with me with the words to dedicate our offering found in your order of service. To the work of this church, which is weaving a tapestry of love and action, we dedicate our lives, and these our offerings.
I invite you to open your hymnals once more to number 240. I heard the bells on Christmas Day. Please rise in body or spirit as we join in song.
It's good to see you this evening. Christmas Eve is always a special service with new faces and old. Some of you who are quite familiar to Unitarian Universalism, and some who are here because you're curious or because you're visiting families. This evening for my service, homily, I thought I would explain a little bit about the three kinds of texts we use in our service and how they can each help us approach the Christmas message. We use three kinds of texts: canonical gospels, non-canonical gospels, and contemporary readings. And each connects us to an aspect of our Unitarian Universalist tradition and the Christmas message. We lift up the canonical Gospels because our congregation has roots in the Christian tradition. And at Christmas time, these roots are laid most bare. The earliest members of our community called themselves Universalist Christians. They believed that the birth of Jesus signified God's universal love and the promise of universal salvation. For them, the holiday was a time to remind each other that Jesus was a teacher who proclaimed, in the words of Henry Wadsworth Longfellow's hymn, "The wrong shall fail, the right prevail, with peace on earth to all goodwill." The wrong shall fail, the right prevail. Longfellow was one of our religious ancestors. His Christmas hymn and the canonical Gospels are a reminder that this time of year is about tradition. It contains rituals that we do year after year, here in the sanctuary, telling an ancient tale, singing carols, and at home, crafting eggnog and cookies, lighting the Christmas tree, exchanging gifts that connects us to those who have gone before and shape our own stories. Nikki Giovanni, the great poet who passed recently, lovesick in Venice, found her drawn to the Christmas story as a way to make sense of a romance that was no more. Perhaps we could have found an inn, or at least a rainbow somewhere over, but they always said only one more, only one more. And Christmas being so near. The second variety of voices we bring into our service are from the non-canonical Gospels. Now, if you were brought up some kind of Christian or studied religion at some point, you'll know that the Christian New Testament contains 4 canonical Gospels, 4 accounts of Jesus' life and death. These are the Gospels or good news of Mark, Matthew, Luke, and John. These texts, though, represent only a fraction of the ancient writings that once circulated about the teachings and life of Jesus. There are dozens of others. Gospels of Judas, Mary, and Thomas. Collections of sayings attributed to Jesus. And theological and philosophical texts that capture something of the diversity of religious stories and philosophies once present in the ancient Middle East. We include these non-canonical texts for 2 reasons. The first is to remind ourselves that no matter how narrow our own experience of Christianity might be, the religion itself has always contained much variety. The forms found in the Catholic churches are about one set of Christianity. The forms practiced by our Baptist, Methodist, Presbyterian, or Pentecostal neighbors are but other sets. Once this diversity was even more varied. There were communities that gravitated to the narratives of the life of Jesus that began with his birth and ended with his death. There were others that saw him as part of a vessel for wisdom traditions that stretched across history back past the dawn of humanity. These readings remind us that there is no single Christianity and that there is no correct way to mark the holiday. Some people open all of their presents on Christmas Eve. Others wait until Christmas morning. I've heard of people who obsess over a Christmas goose. And there are some who believe that the holiday is incomplete without oysters. A few make a big party of the whole thing and spend gobs of time with families and friends. Others prefer to spend the holiday alone. And many of us place ourselves somewhere in between, enjoying both festive commotions and silent nights. We also include these readings from the non-canonical Gospels as a reminder that this congregation is part of a tradition of dissent. The words this evening from On the Origin of the World and the 3 Forms of Thought come from texts that were repressed and banned by the leaders of the church in Rome in the 4th and 5th centuries. The first tells of the coming of a light that will blot out darkness and offer everyone a form of glory. The sentiments contained within it would likely have appealed to the Universalists who founded this congregation. The second text describes how the birth of certain forms of knowledge can shake the foundations of the world and make kings afraid. The community that composed it believed, like many early Unitarians, that knowledge, particularly the knowledge of the divine found within the self, was the key to power. Taken together, these texts uplift the power of love and the force of truth. 2 interpretations of what the birth of Jesus brought into the world. And they remind us that the forms of religious thought common amongst us have existed as long as many other theological positions. They have been repressed, come near extinguishment, thrived, gone into abatement, but they and the spirit of religious and political dissent that they bring have never truly been destroyed. tradition, descent. Our third set of readings come from contemporary voices. They remind us that the themes found in the ancient texts and the stories found in the holiday are enduring ones and ones that each generation and every person must reinterpret for themselves. The Harlem Renaissance poet Jean Toomer experienced the coming of the divine not in ancient Palestine, but as present in his hour when he wrote, "Yet I know the gods are here, and if I touch them, I will arise and take majesty into the kitchen." The poets Gustavo Gac Artigas and Cristina Peri Rossi remind us that across time, the exiled and the homelessness that Mary and Joseph endured in their story have been persistent features in human life. Both of the poets are Latin American writers who have spent the majority of their time outside of their home countries. They fled brutal dictatorships in the 1970s and 1980s and never felt comfortable returning. We, birds without a sky, broke our bonds, broke the bars, held one another's wings, and drunk with hope and without a destination, took flight. We speak languages that are not ours. We walk around without passports or identity papers or write hopeless letters. We write hopeless letters. Tradition, descent, and reinterpretation. I anticipate that the new year is not going to be a happy one for a great many people. We face the nationalization of the politics of cruelty. Vicious and arrogant lords of wealth are astride the earth. The poor, the marginalized, migrants and refugees, people like Mary and Joseph, find it harder and harder to have a place to rest their heads. Borders close, wars mar the human heart and the face of the earth, and even Bethlehem is not at peace. Even Bethlehem is not at peace. More and more the days to come will call us to lean into tradition, descent, and reinterpretation. We will be challenged to find our place amongst religious communities, even as we dissent from their dominant narratives and reinterpret what it means to be religious. Tradition, descent, and reinterpretation might seem a strange message for Christmas, but it should not. For these three things have always been part of the Christmas narrative. The texts tell of the birth of a child who clung fast to the traditions of his religion. He dissented from the parts of it he found to be life-stifling. Let us always remember that Jesus overturned the tables of the money changers. He reinterpreted religion for his times. He lifted up the outcast and despised as part of the Holy Family and found the sacred in every human heart. Tradition, descent, and reinterpretation. This Christmas, like all Christmases, the stories we tell of him challenge us to do likewise. So let us celebrate the birth of a child, the coming of the light, the possibility of human goodness that dwells within each human heart, the power of joy and truth, and find love and joy in Christmas. I hope that your Christmas is a good one. I love you all and wish you the happiest of New Year's. And now let the congregation not say amen, but instead join together and wish each other a Merry Christmas. In a moment, we will begin lighting each other's candles. So when you light your candle, please remember to always hold the candle that is being lit vertically and tip the candle, no, I have that backwards. Please remember to always hold the candle that is lit vertical and turn the candle that is being lit towards the candle lighting it. Just like this. So now please rise in body or in spirit and join us in singing number 251 in the gray hymnal, Silent Night. Candles this Christmas, candles of joy despite all sadness, candles of hope where despair keeps watch, candles of courage for fears ever present, candles of peace for tempest-tossed days, candles of graces to ease heavy burdens, candles of love to inspire all my living, candles that will burn all the year long.
Please join me in reciting the words to extinguish the chalice found in your order of service. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.